How did you get into my house?
The unsung hero of Mexican food is a torta. There's carnitas, there's carne asadas, there's tripas, there's torta inside a torta. It's limitless. I like to think that I'm a torta expert. Not only have I been eating tortas and they're my favorite food for my entire life, but also I look like Ñoño from Chavo de Ocho. The anatomy of a torta is really important to understand. You have to have a bread, filling, toppings, spreads, and extras. The most important part of a torta is the bread. You have to use bolillo teleras. The reason why you want this bread is less sweet, but it's also really soft inside with a crunchy outside. Is it a good contrast? You also can toast it up a little bit. I'm gonna keep mine like this or put it in the air fryer for a bit. To me, a torta has to have a meat component. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, but it has to be some of it. There are two spreads that you put on a perfect torta. The bottom layer is a layer of refried beans. You can make them yourself. You can get them from a Mexican store. You can get the canned ones, but it has to have them. The top of the bolillo has to have sour cream or Mexican crema. You cannot use mayonnaise in this. You have to use Mexican cream or sour cream. There are 4 essential toppings that are needed for a torta. You can have extra stuff, but these are 4 that need to be in there. The first one is queso. I have queso fresco here. You can use a variety of quesos. The Mexican cheeses tend to be a little bit lighter in flavor, so it complements instead of overpowering. Things like cheddar or parmesan might stick out too much. The next 2 essential fillings that you need to have is cilantro and onions. You need to have these 2 because they are essential to Mexican cooking. You could put it in a guacamole or something like that, but it needs to have this. 4th topping that you need to have is an avocado. This has a lot of creaminess and it's also really essential to Mexican cooking. Again, if you have a guacamole, it's perfect for it. For the extras, you need to have at least one of these 3. The torta is going to need some acidity in it. This is where you're going to get your acidity. If you want something that's familiar, you're going to get a lime. If you need some spiciness with that acidity, I recommend having chiles de vinagre. Chiles de vinagre are pickled jalapenos. This adds a ton of flavor to it. Number 3 is a salsa. I recommend a green one because it has the tomatillo, so it's a little bit more acidic, but this is kind of the all-arounder. Again, you have to have at least one of these or else the torta is not complete. For the bottom part, you're going to push it in, and then the top, you're going to take off the bread on top. This is important for later. You're going to add your spreads, your frijoles, then your sour cream. Then you're going to put your meat on top. I have milanesa here. Then you're going to put your avocados so it can have a sticky place for the onions and cilantro. You're going to add your cheese after that, and then you're going to close it up. Now you see how the top covers it all over. You're going to cut it in half, and then admire your work. God damn! You're going to add your extra topping at the end. You got the entire flavor of Mexico in your hands.